Good day, everybody. This is John Scarborough. I wanted to show y'all something. So I've got me here a bolt that I need a locking nut for. Okay, I'm gonna put it on my hay bale unroller, but I don't want to drive 25 minutes in the town, and I've got the bolt that I need, but I don't want to have to go all the way to go get it. But I want to show you what you do. You can turn this bolt into a locking bolt instead of a locking nut, and all you want to do is just booger these threads ever so slightly. Okay, so we're just going to get this hammer here, put it on this anvil, and you don't have to have anything special here. You don't want to overly do it, you just want to go light. See if I can find a good spot there. You just want to lightly do it, and you want to go as far as you're going to go. So if you want it all the way across, which in my case that's what I want, you see how I'm just doing it really light there. Okay, I don't know if you can see those flat spots on there or not. There it is. You can kind of see those flat spots on there. So that just kind of barely messes your thread up. That way when you go to put it on there, like that, the first part, so you notice I didn't booger the thread right at the very end. That way it goes on really easy. But after that, right there, see by hand it won't go on there. And I'm going to show y'all over here. So like I said, right there at the very start, got no issues there, okay? You can kind of see it right in there. You can see where it's flat right there, and all I've done is lightly booger it. Just enough. If you overdo it, it's going to be really hard to do it, to get it to work. But you can see here, it's not bad. It's not hard to get on there. Like I said, you really don't want to mess the beginning up, because then it can cause you to cross thread. All right. If you overdo it, you're not really doing yourself a lot of good, but because actually turning this on here will actually correct some of that. You want to do it just light enough to where it really can't correct itself. But you can see how going all the way down there, it's tight. It's like I cannot pull that off by hand, but I'm not having any trouble with this wrench to pull this on and off. Okay, so now I'm going to pull this off, and then I'm going to kind of put it back on. And you can see there, it's gotten a little bit better, but not really much. And I just want to show y'all that even going back and forth, it's not fixing it. Okay? This is actually really useful. There's a lot of places that this is useful, and one place is if you want to weld this nut onto something, you cannot weld a lock nut at all because it's got plastic threads. That's what gives it its resistance. All right, but by making the nut itself, the bolt itself, a locking bolt, you can create a much better situation, because now you can weld this in anywhere you want it. Plus, you can have a locking system anytime you want it. Now I'm going to show you how to repair these threads if you get threads that are boogered like that. See if we can show you really close. You see how flat that is? Now this would work regardless of how boogered these are. In fact, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to mess them up pretty good. I'm going to mess them up worse than this so that y'all can see. Alright, so you see that? See how badly mushed up that is? That, we're going to show you how to fix that pretty quick and easy. Okay, you want to put your flat side up, put it in here. And of course, these bolts are cheap enough at Tractor Supply. You can just go buy you a bolt if you live close enough. But I tell you, there's a lot of times for me that it ends up being a lot quicker just to fix it right here, because we work off the farm here and we don't want to have to go into town all the time every time some little thing happens. So all we're doing is we've got a nice triangle file here. We're just going right into that groove. And I know y'all see me dragging in reverse on that file, but I'm actually picking up, and I'm not cutting backwards. So I'm still got it laid in the groove, but I'm cutting forward, okay? You want to be sure you don't do this straight. You want to do it at the angle of the bevel. And this can come into handy when you cut a bolt off, you cut something off of there. Come in handy in a lot of different places. After you get it pretty close, then you actually want to hold light pressure and go back and forth with the even but light pressure, okay? So I'm actually cutting back and forth once I get it cut close to where I want it. Now I'm going to check it, but I believe the other side is still going to need some work. That's already better than it was. So now we're going to turn it directly over 90 degrees, and there that side is. And that's boogered up pretty bad as well. Make sure y'all are still in frame. All of that's pretty blurry. Y'all can see all the cuts on my hands there. My hands get really dry in the wintertime here. It gets so cold and the wind blowing on them, they just tend to dry up. This side wasn't as bad, so I'm actually starting a nice cut and then easing off of it and then just kind of smoothing it out. You see, that's a lot better. It's still not perfect. Could use a little bit, but I'm actually able to take and thread that on by hand. That's a lot better on those threads. I'm going to show you this file. You can see it there. That's a triangular file there. Really small file. You can buy these at Harbor Freight and a couple other places. I mean, they're going to be cheaper at Harbor Freight, but for the cost that they're still a really good file to keep around. But that's a pretty good way to get that fixed back up, guys. Really hope that helped. Like and subscribe.